The morning sun rose lazily over Kasala quarters, but inside the compound, there was a new kind of silence. Not the usual silence of people minding their business, but the suspicious silence of people hiding something. The wicked-seeing landlord, Mr. Okadike, immediately felt it. Normally, when he strutted out of his single-room palace with his chest pushed forward like a hungry pigeon, tenants would start greeting. "Good morning, landlord." "Landlord, you are looking fresh. May your enemies never succeed, landlord." But this morning, nothing. He cleared his throat loudly. Still silence. The tenants were deliberately busy. Ngozi scrubbing her pots noisily. Musa hammering a spanner on nothing in particular. Chukwudi pretending to adjust a trouser that did not need adjustment. The landlord's tiny eyes narrowed. "So none of you in this compound can greet again? Abi all of you swallowed your tongues overnight?" The tenants glanced at each other, struggling not to laugh. This was Operation Laughter's first test. Feeling ignored, the landlord stomped his thin legs on the ground. "I say greet me. Do you know who I am? Wait oh, I am the landlord of this compound. This land is mine. The sand you people are stepping on is my sand. Even the mosquitoes that bite you at night, they are paying rent to me." The tenants could not hold it anymore and they bursted into laughter. Their laughter exploded like fireworks. Children rolled on the floor, clapping their hands. Madam Ifeoma bent double, shaking. Even Mama Ozioma chuckled softly, covering her mouth with her wrapper. The landlord froze, his mouth open. "Wait oh, what is funny? Did I crack a joke?" "Landlord," Musa managed between laughs. "You said mosquitoes are paying you rent. How much are they paying you? 1 drop of blood per month?" The laughter doubled. "Ewo!" Chukwudi cried, falling off his stool. "Landlord, abeg tell us, abeg also paying you? Are they your tenants? Because they've been owing me plenty sleep." The compound roared in laughter. The landlord's ears burned like roasted groundnut. "So you people are now mocking me, eh? You want to turn my compound into a comedy club, abi?" "Yes so," the tenants chorused, laughing louder. His bony chest rose and fell as he pointed at them. "Don't worry. You people will see another side of me. From today, I will tighten security in this compound. Nobody will escape my eyes." That same day, the landlord introduced new rules. No cooking with firewood because the smoke was disturbing his ancestors. No children playing football because they might kick the ball into his future. No laughing after 7 p.m. because too much laughter reduces the lifespan of landlords. Every tenant must greet him 3 times a day, morning, afternoon and evening. He pasted the rules on the compound wall with cheap gum. The tenants gathered round to read them and immediately burst into uncontrollable laughter. "Landlord don craze finish oo," Chukwudi shouted. "How can laughter kill landlord? If na so, e for don die since now. Na today we start to dey laugh." Even Ngozi, who was unusually quiet, chuckled. 3 greetings per day. Is he running a church or a shrine? The compound shook with amusement. Determined not to be mocked, the landlord began patrolling the compound like a tin soldier. He carried a whistle and blew it at random times. "Pee pee pee pee, pee pee pee." "Tenants, why are you using firewood? 500 naira fine. Oya pay." "Pee pee pee." "Children, why are you kicking sand? 200 naira fine. Pay." "Musa, why are you laughing after 7 p.m.? 1000 naira fine. Oya pay me immediately." But instead of paying, the tenants only laughed harder. Whenever he blew his whistle, they clapped and chanted like football fans. "Referee! Referee! Referee landlord!" Children even started running behind him and singing, "Landlord the referee! Landlord the referee!" The more he blew the whistle, the louder they clapped. Soon, his cheeks puffed out from his too much blowing and he fainted again. This time, the tenants were ready. Instead of rushing with water, they gathered around him, clapping slowly and singing in fake sorrow. "Landlord don die oo! Landlord don die oo!" Two children even held sticks like trumpets and blew off-key sounds. The dead landlord opened one eye. "Wait, what are you people singing?" They ignored him and sang louder. "Carry am go mortuary, landlord don die oo! Carry am go mortuary, landlord don die oo!" The landlord jumped up like a frog in hot oil. "Stop it! Stop it! I am not dead. Do you people want to kill me before my time?" The tenant collapsed in laughter. That night, as he lay in bed, the landlord tossed and turned. His thin body rattled the wooden bed like dry sticks in the wind. What is happening in this compound? Have my tenant joined secret court of laughter? Or have witches bewitched them to disgrace me? He sat up suddenly, clutching his notebook. No, they are planning something. They want to rebel. But I, Okadike, the great landlord, I will show them pepper. I will crush them one by one. But deep down, a seed of fear had been planted in him. For the first time, he realized his tenants were no longer afraid of him. 4 days after the landlord introduced his ridiculous rules, the compound became a stage. Every time he strutted around with his whistle and notebook, the tenant treated it like a comedy show. What used to be fear now became laughter. It was like watching a lion roar only for animals to clap and laugh instead of running away. The lion loses its pride, and so the big rebellion began. One hot afternoon, the landlord caught Ngozi's little son kicking a bottle cap like football. "Aha, you!" he screamed, pointing his bony finger. "You are breaking my rule number 2. No football in the compound." The boy blinked innocently. "But landlord, it's not football now, it's just bottle cap." "Shut up! Bottle cap today, football tomorrow. Oya, you will pay me 500 naira fine." Ngozi came running furiously. "Landlord, leave my child alone. He's just playing." "Madam, control your son before I evict both of you from this house." That was it. The whole compound erupted. The tenants gathered instantly, forming a circle around the landlord. Landlord, the referee, the chorus, clapping and chanting. Musa pulled out a broken car horn and started honking. Pa 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 pa. Chukwudi whistled like a commentator. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kasala Stadium. Today's referee is landlord Okadike, weighing only 25 kg but carrying 250 kg of wickedness." The compound roared. Children jumped up and down, chanting, "Referee landlord, referee landlord." Landlord's thin face turned red with anger. He blew his whistle non-stop, but the tenants only cheered louder. Frustrated, he collapsed again, clutching his chest. "Yay! My heart! My tenants have killed me oh!" Without missing a beat, the tenants began their funeral chorus. "Landlord don die oh! Landlord don die oh!" This time, they added drama. Two men carried a wooden bench like a coffin, pretending to lift him. "Quick, quick, carry him to the mortuary," Musa shouted. Landlord jumped up in panic, almost tripping over his agbada. "Stop it! Stop it! I am alive! Wicked people, you want to bury me alive?" The compound exploded in laughter again, so loud that even passers-by stopped at the gate to watch. The rebellion grew stronger. That evening, when he tried to call a compound meeting, nobody showed up. Instead, the tenants gathered in Madam Informer's shop, eating beans and laughing together. When he shouted from his veranda, "All tenants, come here now!" they replied in chorus, "We are busy, landlord. If you want us, come and buy beans." For the first time in his life, the landlord realized that he was no longer feared. His threats were now entertainment. His fainting was comedy. His rules were ignored. It was like a masquerade losing its power once people discovered who was under the mask. That night, Okadike sat alone in his room. The compound echoed with the tenants' laughter and music, while his room felt empty and cold. He muttered to himself, "How did it come to this? I, Okadike, the great landlord, have become a laughing stock in my own compound. My tenants are no longer afraid of me. They mock me. They sing funeral songs for me. Ha!" He sighed deeply, looking at his thin hands. Maybe I went too far. A landlord without tenant is like a king without subjects. If I lose them, who will I rule again? Nobody. For the first time, a crack appeared in his pride. The rebellion had changed the atmosphere of Kasala quarters. The tenants were united, laughing together, sharing food, and no longer trembling at the landlord's whistle. But Okadike, the wicked teen landlord, was boiling inside. He could not accept that his tenant had stripped him of fear. "This rebellion cannot continue," he muttered, pacing in his room. "If I allow it, very soon they will tell me to start paying them rent." He devised a wicked plan. He would evict Ngozi, the single mother, since he was the easiest target, he thought. If I drive her away, the others will be afraid again. The next morning, Okadike stormed into the compound with his notebook and a rusty padlock. "Ngozi," he barked, "pack your load today. You and your son are hereby evicted for breaking my rules and owing me rent." Yeah. The compound went silent. Ngozi froze, tears welling up in her eyes. But landlord, I promised to pay. Please give me small time. No time, he snapped. Out! Out of my compound now! He bent to lock her door, but before the padlock could click, Musa grabbed his arm. Landlord, enough is enough, Musa said firmly. The other tenants gathered behind Ngozi. Chukwudi folded his arms. Madam Ifoma dropped her bean spoon. Even the children stood with their mothers. If you touch that door, Madam Ifoma warned, you will have to evict all of us. The compound echoed with agreement. Ukadike's eyes widened. All of you? Are you mad? Do you think you can fight your landlord? Yes, they chorused. Ukadike grew furious. His thin body shook as he shouted, you people will regret this. I will show you Pepe. I will. But before he could finish, his thin legs tangled in his oversized agbada. He slipped, tumbled backward, and landed in the open gutter with a loud sound. Boom! Water splashed everywhere. Children screamed, then bursted into laughter. Landlord has entered the gutter, oh, they chanted. Gutter landlord, gutter landlord. The tenants laughed so hard that tears ran down their cheeks. Even Mama Ozioma, though worried, shook her head in pity. Okadike sat in the dirty gutter water, his agbada soaked, his notebook floating beside him. His whistle was gone, his dignity was gone, and for the first time, he felt small, not because of his thin body, but because he realized he had lost respect, not by poverty, but by wickedness. When the laughter finally calmed, Mama Ozema stepped forward. Her voice was gentle but firm. My son, Okadike, she said, do you see now? You ruled with fear, but fear cannot build a home. You mocked your tenants, but now they mock you. You fainted to escape the truth, but the truth has caught you. A landlord without love is like a pot without soup, empty, bitter, and useless. The tenants nodded. Okadike buried his face in his hands. For the first time in his life, he wept openly. That evening, the landlord called a meeting, not with shout, but with humility. He stood before his tenants, his clothes still damp, his pride broken. My tenants, he began, his voice shaking. I have been a wicked man. I thought respect comes by fear, but I see now it comes by kindness. Please, forgive me. The compound was silent. Then Ngozi, the same woman whom he tried to evict, stepped forward. We will forgive you, landlord, but you must also forgive yourself and change. The others agreed, and slowly, a smile crept across Okadike's thin face. For once, it was not wickedness, but relief. From that day, the landlord changed. He still carried his notebook, but now he used it to write down repairs and needs of the tenants, not fines. He still wore his agbada, but it was no longer a uniform of pride, it was just clothes. He no longer fainted at excuses. Instead, he listened, and slowly, laughter in the compound turned from mockery to genuine joy. Okadike had learned his bitter lesson. When you lead with wickedness, you end in shame. But when you lead with kindness, you build respect. In the end, the wicked teen landlord, Mr. Kadike, realized that fear can never build respect. His fainting, shouting, and rules only made him a laughing stock. But when he humbled himself, he gained respect. The tenant also learned that unity is strength. Alone, each of them suffered. But together, they stood tall and forced change. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more African tales that will make you laugh, think, and learn. Until next time, stay wise, stay united, and stay blessed. And with that being said, Ngwanu bye. Mwah. Ngwanu bye.